The two tight ends will stay in. Smith quickly under center, dives forward. Did he get in? It's going to be close. They're going to look at it. Touchdown, Central Arkansas! After a delay, Braylon Smith is in, his second rushing touchdown of the season.
All right, welcome in to the Pizza Ranch in Conway, the best-smelling coaches show in America. Nathan Brown and the Bears notching win number 1 of the season. And congratulations, Coach, your first win as the top dog here in the football program for UCA. And I know it had to feel awfully good.
Yeah, especially considering the night and the circumstances and the scenario we were under with the lightning delay and rain. And, a good feisty Murray team came in, and our guys found a way to win the game. And, hopefully it's one of many. Yeah,
you would have thought you guys had a 10-year rivalry brewing. I know you guys played them last year and kind of beat them up on their home turf. They probably didn't take too kindly to that, but there was a little chippiness, I guess, and maybe it was the weather, maybe it was them trying to get back at you guys. But there was a good fight in the game, and a good battle, I think, on a Saturday night.
Yeah, I think anytime you get two competitive teams that are looking for their first win on the season, and obviously they came off a tough loss against Southern Illinois the week before, and then obviously our deal at Tulsa. There was guys fired up and ready to play, and I thought our guys handled themselves well. There's always one or two players on every team that'll get after you and talk to you and all that stuff. So I thought our guys were mature, handled their business, played within the whistles, and then made plays and made the most when it counted throughout the night.
Total elapsed time 2 hours and 49 minutes, but it was 4 hours and 1 minute from start to finish with that lightning delay. Again, there's all kinds of things you have to prepare for, and I don't know if there's a scenario do you work through lightning delays? Is that part of practice?
Well, it's something we were prepared for. It's something we talked about, and our players will obviously communicate that, probably understand why we did it. But on Thursday, we made the conscious decision to actually practice in the rain. It was a pretty good rain coming on Thursday practice prior to Saturday, and we had a chance to go out and kick the football, throw and catch in it, do all of our special teams work that you normally would do on a Thursday, and there wasn't any lightning in the area, so we were allowed to do that. And I don't know if that was a difference in the game. We're blessed with a great indoor facility, so we get to use it whenever you get lightning or rain or cold weather. But I made the decision that, hey, there's a chance of this happening Saturday. We saw the future cast and what was the possibility, and I thought our guys, responded well, and Thursday was probably crucial to it being that way.
Yeah, well, it was a hard-fought win. 26-13 the final. Bears win it on a rough night here in Conway, as we mentioned, and I want to ask for a show of hands from those who are assembled here tonight. We stuck around to the end, but we were sitting up in the press box, and we had a pretty easy gig out there. I have to say, we were impressed by the crowd that went to Tulsa the week before. It was a great turnout, and the people who hung in there through the delay and stuck around in the stands on a rough Saturday night, I got to say, I tip my cap.
Man, that was awesome. And I tell you, it was it's huge for our players. When you've been sitting a little over an hour during a delay, and then to come out and it's still a driving rainstorm, and you still have Bear fans out there, in the suites, under the concourse, and then coming out in their ponchos. It just made for a great atmosphere. I mean, I was talking to the president, Dr. Teague, after the game and visiting after, and just really complimenting them on the promotion of keeping people around, opening the indoor, opening the fair center, giving play for people to stay, and have have the opportunity to wait out the storm, and it worked out well, and we're greatly indebted to the fans that stayed, and we really appreciate that.
Did some good things offensively. Defense came up really big in a couple of spots. Didn't give up a lot of yardage overall in the game, but they had a couple opportunities, talking about the Racers, to score that your team negated with some great defensive plays. And we're going to talk to one of the key playmakers for you on Saturday, Juan Jackson, after he gets done smashing some dinner here. We're going to get him over here in a little bit. Also, Lester Wells had a career night, 9 catches, and looked like he was on his way to a 200-yard night, which would have been historic. There's only been a handful of those in UCA history. But let's start with the defense, Coach. A couple of big plays, a pick in the end zone, and then a fumble that was caused with a receiver on his way seemingly into the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, the defense got put in some tough spots. And when you play in a game like that, your defense has to come up big in big situations. And obviously, when you play in a game with that much rain and wind and just the balls are wet, there's going to naturally be turnovers. And I thought our defense, the punt that hit Duke Upshaw, that gave them the football. They had a short field there. I think that was the interception that Juan had in the end zone. And then a fumble later on a bubble screen by Cedric, got hit perfect. Ball came out. Well, I think that was when we came up with a play, knocking the ball out of the defender's hand right there, at about the 4 or 5 yard line and recovered in the end zone. So defense was put in some tough spots. They stood strong. They stood tall, exactly what we expect them to do. I thought they had one of the best second halves of defensive play that we've had here in a long time. I mean, whenever you have 6 possessions of offense for Murray State and 5 of them ended with a punt and the other one ended with a turnover, I mean, on offense you just got to protect the football and make sure you don't screw it up. So big-time night by the defense.
Yeah, you mentioned the rough play on special teams, the one tough play, I guess, on the night. But overall, ball security was awfully good for your team, and you handed it off to a number of different backs. Braylon handled a lot. You had a lot of different receivers who caught it, I thought, well, with considering the conditions.
It was. When you put those conditions, within throwing a football, as simple as things as taking a snap. I mean, from the center and quarterback, then the snapper to the punter. All those things that you take for granted on a dry night, really gets escalated and really gets emphasized in a game like that. So, the receivers took the gloves off. They used their natural hands. All those things that you practice and talk about, we had to put into fruition the other night, and we executed a little better than Murray, and we came out with the win.
Okay, so the glove thing.
Yeah.
That's exactly the opposite of what I would expect. What's you thinking there?
Well, and Lester can answer this later, but, there's something about whenever you get those gloves get wet, the tack kind of loses its its use. And, a lot of times you'll see guys, they'll take the gloves off, in really wet games because you can dry your hands off quicker and your hands have a little more tack to them when it's truly wet, like it was the other night, because it never really dried. After the delay, there was never really a dry moment for the rest of the game.
Gotcha.
So that's something you talk about. Taking the visors off, little stuff like that. That you take for granted. Obviously, during a dry game and practice and regular good condition nights that you have to put to work on nights like that.
I'm not a big fan of cliches, but there is one that is said over and over again. So there's got to be something to it. The biggest improvement is between the first and second game. So if that's the case, where did you improve?
Well, we improved. I thought when it was dry and when the conditions were great, I thought we were clicking on all cylinders on offense. Now we had a penalty or two that set us back at times, but you could see that we were keeping Murray off balance. We were moving the ball, inside and out, getting the ball in our playmakers' hands quickly. But we were better in the red zone, and that from week 1 to week 2, that's really what hurt us at Tulsa was the red zone. We greatly improved that going into week 2. Really, other than taking a knee at the end of the game, we took care of business when we got inside the 20, and that's what it was about, and probably the difference in the football game.
Hands it. Carlos threw a tackle, fighting forward into the end zone. He was dead to rights in the backfield, and he dragged the defender into the end zone. The defensive player had a hold of his jersey, was pulling on it, but Carlos said, "No, sir, I got somewhere to be." 6 for Carlos and the Bears. Second and short, and the rain is starting to come down a little more steadily, as Chris pointed out. Handoff. Nope, play action. Over the middle. Caught by Wells and into the end zone. Touchdown, Central Arkansas. What a beautiful throw by Braylon Smith. A dart to Lester Wells in front of the defender, and he had no chance to make a play.
All right, welcome back here to Pizza Ranch in Conway. And what I meant to say there was, what a fantastic catch by Lester Wells.
No question.
And it was a good throw, too, obviously. But welcome back, and a lot of fun in the rain the other night. And you know what? Hey, Bears love the water, so they say. So, you know what? You guys look pretty comfortable out there through the night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would describe the night as fun, but when any night you win, wins are so hard to come by. College football wins are so precious, and that's what I try to tell our players each and every day that don't take wins for granted. I mean, the time and effort put into winning football games is crucial, and it takes time, and so any win's a good win, and especially a win in those circumstances was awesome.
I told you I don't like cliches. I also don't like the term ugly win. I think any old win's a good one, right?
Any win's a good win.
Yeah.
I don't care if it can be the ugliest win in the world. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, you can win by 1 point or 30 points, and to me, that's what it's about in the end.
Well, let's talk to Lester. Again, it was a rough night for the receivers, gloveless of all things. So 9 catches, 158 yards, and a touchdown. Looked like he was on his way to breaking that 200-yard mark. The good news is got plenty of games left to try to get there. congratulations. It was a great performance on a tough night.
Thank you.
So as far as you go, what did you find the most difficult to deal with as far as the rain, and how much did the preparation through the week help you? I mean, did you think about it? Did it bother you? I mean, when it was raining, the wet ball?
I mean, it really didn't bother me, in the rain. But we practiced, we practiced in the rain, and we already knew it was going to be raining. So,
Yeah.
We got our mind right for it.
Yeah. I guess you sort of have to let it go. I mean, it just is what it is, right? I mean, you guys have to – everybody's playing in the same conditions. You try not to think about it?
Right.
Okay.
For the most part.
What about with the gloves? We were talking about the gloves earlier. Do you practice without them when it's wet?
Are you a glove guy or are you a non-glove?
I'm a glove guy.
So
you know what I'm saying? So I kept them on the longest. Everybody was like, how you keep your gloves on? You know what I'm saying?
They should do what you were doing. You had a big night.
Right.
So you got rid of them eventually?
Yeah.
Second half?
Late second half.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
After you had all the catches.
Yeah. I had two catches without my gloves. So
Okay. So 7 with. All right. We'll go with that. That's good. Okay. So you are from Natchez, Mississippi. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me about the trip here. How'd you end up on campus?
Man, I originally I'm from Natchez. You know what I'm saying? I come from Gulf Coast Community College.
Yep.
And, you know what I'm saying? And I came here on my visit, and I liked it. You know what I'm saying? Me and Reggio, you know what I'm saying? My bad, y'all. But me and Reggio, we had talked about it and everything, and we wanted to come together.
Okay.
So.
Oh, interesting. So you guys play together down there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very good.
Him and Reggie are attached at the hip.
Okay.
Yeah, they're boys.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
all right.
That's cool.
So, different quarterback this year. You, as I mentioned earlier, you're the leading returning receiver from last year as far as number of catches go. A little over 300 yards last season, and heck, you're already almost there now. So, good news is you're well on your way. But how much different is it playing with Braylon versus working with Hayden last year?
Well, it ain't no different. You know what I'm saying? We work the same. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's funny because I'm starting now. You know what I'm saying? I get more balls and everything. But
yeah. What about this group? I mean, as far as this receiver group versus last year, obviously you lost a couple of big catch guys, but
we got some more dogs. You know what I'm saying? We work every day. You know what I'm saying? Coach Howard gonna work us to, you know what I'm saying, to be the best. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be the best group on the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
How to feel?
Southland. You know what I'm saying?
Well, defending champs, so you guys got a lot on your shoulders.
Yeah.
How did it feel to give Coach Brown his first win as a head coach?
Oh, it felt good. You know what I'm saying? That guy there, hey, that's my dog. That's my dog.
Okay, so this week it ramps up. I mean, I know it's, going to Tulsa and you guys had a shot and did some good things there. And then last week you get win number 1. This week it gets real. You're into Southland Conference play, going down to Southeastern. Mentality, same or switch? A little different when you guys get in?
We want all the smoke. You know what I'm saying? We want everything.
Okay.
I think it naturally switches. We talked about that last night. I mean, it's just, we obviously your non-conference schedule is so important, and especially, when you're trying to make playoff pushes. But the player, I thought we practiced with a different mentality. We understand Southeastern. They understand us. You play each other every year. So, I think naturally you kind of flip that switch and excitement and, just the team bonding, because there's something we've got to defend now. I mean, we're the defending champions. We're not the champions now. We've got to go prove it. But, that's what you guys work for,
Yes, sir.
I don't want to jinx you guys, but I did see that there is a chance of some rain in
that
neck of the woods this weekend.
We're all right.
That's good. Hey, that's good.
It's all good this week, huh? What are you studying up here?
Health education.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And you're senior.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
When are you done?
December.
Okay.
December.
And then what? What do you plan to do?
I want to be a HVAC technician. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
All right. Very good. Yep. Well, listen, congratulations on a great game this week. Good luck next week. Appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Very good. All right. Lester Wells. Good stuff.
Yeah, there's just to talk about Lester. If you could give us a whole team of Lester Wells, just his attitude going to work every day, the way he practices, he's infectious. I mean, not to mention he's a great receiver, but just the way he goes about his business at work and it's the way he is socially off the field, just a phenomenal kid and player and someone you want to represent your program.
Yeah,
it's fun to watch him have success on Saturdays.
And he's proud of Rap Natchez too. I saw that.
Oh, no doubt.
He was you liked hearing that.
Twins left, twins right, ball in the right hash. Anderson drops back, looking right, over the middle. Bears are there, picked off in the end zone. It is intercepted. It is Juan Jackson down there wrestling with it with a Murray State receiver. Jackson had it initially. They're still fighting over it.
Waving it, touchback. Drew Anderson's pass.
So Juan Jackson with the interception in the end zone. Anderson threw 2 picks last week, and Juan Jackson had to really work hard to earn that one. My goodness.
All right, welcome back. Yeah, that was one of a handful of plays, Coach. We weren't really sure exactly what happened. We thought we had a beat on it, but there were a couple of touchdowns that they were slow to award as well. So,
well, when I initially saw it, I didn't think there was any doubt Juan intercepted the football, but then you get the scram and the 50-50 stuff. Does the tie go to the offense? So I got nervous there for probably about 30 seconds, and they finally waved it a touchback, and I thought it was the right call.
Well, yeah, I imagine you did. I talked to Juan earlier before the show started, and never a doubt in his mind, right? I mean,
No,
Juan, you never had a question.
Never, not at all.
Okay,
I
so
got the ball.
What did you see on the play, and what happened there?
We were just pretty much playing man coverage, and he tried to give me a little double move, kind of stuck me outside, and tried to shoot me back in, and I ended up just jumping in front of it, and I made a play.
And he was trying to get back in at the too little, too late.
Yeah, it was definitely too little, too late.
So what were the officials saying? Did you overhear them when they were talking about it?
They were first just telling us kind of like stop wrestling over the ball, and we were both just kind of like just tugging back and forth like no, like I'm not letting it go. And so eventually I just ended up letting the ball go first, and they kind of talked for a second, and they ended up giving the touchback.
Well, Juan, what bothered me was Juan, after they got him up, Juan comes celebrating the sideline. I'm like, go down there and argue your case. Like I can't go on the field. Go over there and argue. But it ended up working out.
You are a junior from Gardendale, Alabama, and we had you on the show last year. Had a big year, 82 tackles, 3 picks, and this year off to a great start. I jokingly said you had 100 tackles against Tulsa. It seemed like you ran on every darn play. 16, I think, was the official count. I didn't get a chance to see you afterwards. I was curious if you were sore in the days afterwards because you were in a lot.
Sunday I was pretty sore, but when we got it back around to Tuesday and in the work week, I was fine.
How's the mentality this year versus last year? You guys lost a couple of studs, obviously, with George and Trey, and now they're off to the NFL. And your role is, I don't know what your role is, how much different it is, but certainly you've embraced it so far.
Pretty much everybody just kind of has a chip on their shoulders as a defense. We lost some good guys. We feel like we have some good guys. So everybody's trying to prove themselves.
Going to try to make us forget about George and Trey, maybe.
I mean, we can't forget about them, but we can add some more names to that list.
And then there was another huge play that you made the other night. And, again, I don't know if, because it was such a messy night, I don't even know if we credited you at the time, so I apologize, for forcing a fumble. They had thrown a completion to their receiver, and he's looked like running in the end zone. You come up behind him and punched it out, and fortunately able to cover it in the end zone for a touchback. I think it was Trey Mosley that covered it. But what happened there? And again, that was a pretty heads-up play.
Just a play where a couple guys missed the tight end. He was on the way into the end zone. Just keep playing football, try to get him down, and found a way, ended up punching the ball out. And I guess the weather kind of helped out a little bit, but ended up getting the ball out and making a play. Trey
was obviously an accomplished quarterback in high school and obviously a pretty darn good cornerback. I don't know if anybody saw he was suited up for the Chiefs yesterday. You actually had a pretty good offensive career as well in high school, right?
Yes, sir. I played a little bit of running back, a little bit of receiver. I used to return kicks and stuff like that. So, I used to touch the ball a little bit. That's really the only difference.
Okay. You feel like you got the best ball skills now?
Yeah, easy.
On the defense, at least?
Easy.
Yeah. Okay. So, how did you end up on defense? Did you get chosen to be on defense, or did you choose defense?
My sophomore year in high school, we had our running back is Jordan Howard from the Bears.
You played with him in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was the backup running back. So
oh, my.
My sophomore year, they moved me to safety. So it wasn't no point in, I couldn't touch the ball.
Yeah.
So my junior and senior year, I got the ball a little bit more. And but I always kind of played safety. I always kind of played both ways.
Okay. Did you call him and tell him you were sorry for him for last night? He got Aaron Rodgers.
Now, I talked to him a little bit. I think if they would have gave him the ball a couple times on them 3rd and 1s, I think they would have been fine.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, I'm afraid. So that's pretty interesting. Anybody else? You played with a bunch of NFL guys.
Well, it's adding to the list.
Yeah.
I feel like every year.
That's pretty crazy. So as far as this week, we were talking. I mean, it is a complete script flipped for Southeastern Louisiana. This is a team that came in last year, threw for 84 yards, tried to run it all over. You get the option to deal with. This year, they're throwing all over the yard. We're going to talk more about them coming up, but a Fresno State transfer, they're pretty confident and clearly a quarterback. If you're a D-back, you got to be looking your chops. It's a great opportunity for you.
Definitely. It's another opportunity for us to come out and compete and just show what we can do as a defense. Last week we felt like we played pretty good, but we still can play better. So we're just trying to piece it all together and prove that we're a dominant defense.
And as far as Southland Conference goes, getting into conference play now, mental switch?
as a defense, we try to come out every week and we try to impose our will on whoever it is. So just being Southeastern, just being the next opponent, we look to go out and compete.
I don't like to bring up negative stats, but no sacks last week, and I didn't think your team was capable of being shut out, Coach. That was very odd. They obviously did enough to put pressure on the quarterback to throw a pick at least, but it's such a symbiotic relationship. You guys have such a great thing going, and if you're a D-back, you got to love the fact that you know the guys up front are going to put pressure on all night.
Definitely. That's the zoo. Them kids, they some grown men down there, and I wouldn't have to deal. I'm glad I don't have to deal with them, and they on my team. So.
Yeah.
And I think no sacks, but they were putting pressure on him all night. They were, schematically on offensive line, they were, taking a drop and cutting them and doing some different things. They knew they had to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands fast. And, if you look at the QB pressures, and then even the ones that maybe didn't even make the stat line, they made that quarterback move his feet the whole night.
Yeah.
And, under those conditions, it was a pretty good effort on their part.
There are some new rules. I don't know if we talked about this in week 1, but you mentioned cut block, Coach, and that's something, I don't know if you guys spent a lot of time on it. It's not a huge difference, but the biggest thing is, I guess, if you're going to cut, you got to go straight at a guy. You can't do it from the side.
Yeah, and you actually can't go further than 5 yards down the field and do it. So that's new as well. So if I'm a receiver, I've got to be head up, basically 10 and 2, and to go make a cut. But also at the same time, I cannot be past 5 yards. It's obviously a tough judgment call on the referees and all that, but something we don't do a whole lot on offense. I know on defense they practice shed and cut blocks with some of their drills, so that's definitely something we're conscious about.
They also have a new rule that you have to have your knees covered with your pads this year, which is odd. Any concerns or any issues with that so far through 2 games?
Well, we haven't had any issues. We the Nike uniform that we've unveiled this year has been good. It's a little bit it gets to your mid knee. I've seen guys get pulled off of games on TV, so we're doing something right. I don't know the players. They might not like it. They like having their pants up high and stuff like that. But they understand the rule and they're abiding by the rule, and I think our guys are doing a good job of that, and I appreciate that because that's just one less headache I got to worry about.
I should have asked Lester about this too, and I'm sorry I didn't. But Juan, obviously you guys got the new helmets unveiled, the white helmets with the purple bear logo on there.
Cool.
They are, I think the kids call it clean, very clean.
Definitely.
The ice, yes, and the video that I think Desmond was involved in was absolutely fantastic. It was kind of freaky, actually. It was like a horror film, but the unis are sweet. I was kind of hoping to see all white. You guys mixed and matched there, but what do you think of the new helmets and the uniform opportunities there?
It's definitely great to have another helmet. It's definitely just add some swag to our team and gives everybody just another little edge about us. You know what I'm saying? We go out there looking good, so we go out there and play good.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show you there's a lot of support. Dr. Teague was on with us in pregame and mentioned that it was a $30,000 price tag, and somebody footed the bill for it. So good to see the support.
Well, it's huge. I mean, anytime you can get private donors through the Purple Circle Foundation, they've done a great job with that. And really, college football now. We were talking about this at lunch today. College football now, with recruiting and just where it's going, your branding is huge. So to have the opportunity to still have our gray helmet, but also have our white helmet and add a different logo to it, and obviously with the Nike brand we're wearing this year, all those things is just really helping our logo and our brand. Not only in the state of Arkansas and the Southeast, but the nation.
How do you decide on the combo? Is it now that it's been unveiled? Do you let the players?
I think it's going to be definitely player involved. I mean, what looks good, what we play good in. I mean, what feels good to us. All those things that I'm kind of so superstitious. I say I'm not superstitious, so that's pretty bad. But what are we winning in? Type deal.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've got some opportunities and some combinations out there that and looking at them through pictures and through film, I thought Saturday's purple white combo was just it looked great.
Overall, defensively, as long as we're talking about, I want to mention, too, Raphael Garner, Coach. 9 tackles, a couple tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. Had a big night as well.
Yeah, Ralph's had 2 great games. He had a little knee injury in spring ball, and he's came back from that. He had a big year last year, and he's kind of the quarterback of the defense. He gets them lined up there at the middle linebacker spot, and linebacker's a tough position. You got to play the run, you got to play the pass, and then you've got to diagnose what the offense is doing really in a quick manner, especially the way tempo offenses are. So really pleased the way Ralph and Reggio and really that whole linebacking group, that middle group's doing.
Just 2.1 yards a carry against the run, awfully nasty. 265 yards of total offense allowed on Saturday night. And we mentioned, no sacks, but 10 tackles for loss. So, that was one of the real keys last year for this defense, Coach, was creating negative plays, putting teams behind the sticks, and no matter how good a quarterback you are, that's an uncomfortable place.
Yeah, here's the neat thing about the structure of our defense is, we play that 3-4 scheme, but with the coverage and type of schematic we have on defense, a guy like Juan plays safety, but a lot of times Juan's got a run fit he's got to worry about. So when you involve your safeties and run fits, usually you're going to put your defense in a good situation to hold at least tame the run down. So Juan does a great job, coming down, from that boundary safety. Michael Ware does a great job over the top, and then we got to trust our corners to play on that island sometimes. And if we can do that, then usually we're going to be successful.
Anything you want to see improved on? Anything that stands out through week 2?
Yeah, you just want to see. Obviously, I don't think we put together a full game. When you talk about offense, defense, and special teams, and most teams haven't at this point in 2 games. But you see effort, and when you've got a team that plays with effort and loves playing with each other and has a passion like the group we have, then usually good things are going to happen because we've got talent. We've got talent. We've got great preparation with the coaches putting schemes out there to make us successful. It's just a matter of doing the little things right. Because when you don't, it's going to escalate you. And once we get into playing the meat of our conference schedule, we're going to play good football to keep winning football games.
As far as, I'm glad you mentioned the conference. I was going to talk to you about this a little bit later, but since you mentioned it, and I'll talk about it now. You guys are sitting at 17th. I think it dropped even one spot maybe in one of the other polls to 18th or 19th, maybe a couple spots. But, again, keep winning. It'll take care of itself. Yeah. I know it's not a concern, but you look up at 3 schools in the conference in the rankings. I think it's definitely good for the Southland. And as far as national respect, and when you get into seeding at the end of the year, it's good to see the Southland getting a little love around the country.
Well, I said it even all the way back to the summer at Media Days when I think we were picked 3rd in the preseason polls. Yes, that's added motivation for us. We were a 9-0 team last year. We were 8-1 the year before. So we've had a lot of success in the Southland Conference over the past 2 seasons. That being said, that doesn't mean this 2018 team has done that. So I understand the preseason polls and what it's about, but at the same time, it shows the depth of the conference. It shows how good this conference has gotten. When you talk about Sam Houston, you talk about Nichols Rise, the success they've had, and then obviously McNeese is always going to be tough in the way they play. So and then we're sitting there right there with those guys. So it's going to be a difficult season. We got some tough road games. That's why Saturday's win was so big, because when you look at you look at the near future, 3 of our next 4 are on the road. Mm-hmm. 3 of our first 4 conference games are on the road, and our next 2 maybe 2 of the toughest places to play in the conference in Hammond, Louisiana, and Huntsville, Texas. So. Saturday was a huge win, just in the total grand scheme of this season. So we've got some work to do, and when you take those long road trips in this conference, it's hard to go win football games.
Coach Cedric Battle had a few carries the other night, averaged over 5 yards per. We've seen him before be a weapon in the passing game. Had a couple of catches the other night as well. He's not here. I didn't get to ask him if he wore gloves or not, but whatever he's doing, it's working. He has also been a dangerous weapon in the return game, and we saw it the other night. The other one, Murray State. How about that? The other MSU.
Yeah.
Wised up pretty quickly and quit going to him, but 40-plus yard return in both of the first 2 games. It was such a great weapon to have.
Well, it is. Hopefully we can get to the point where teams want to kick away from us, and then they subsequently kick it out of bounds like they did late in the game, and so we want to make sure that we put a good product out there. And here's the cool part. We're talking to 2 guys tonight in Lester Wells and Juan Jackson who are both on that unit as well, making blocks. So we ask a lot of our frontline players that play a lot of snaps on offense and defense to be great special teams players too. And so Cedric's a weapon. Cedric's a guy that can change a game with one kick, and he's done that in the past, and he's going to continue to do that. But it's to be a great team and be a championship team, special teams, you've got to gain an edge in the special teams. And I think having a guy like Cedric Battle as a return guy can do that for you.
And obviously Kiki had some good moments the other night as well. And Carlos Blackman, the only thing harder to tackle than Carlos Blackman is a wet Carlos Blackman. It was fun watching those guys try to bring him down the other night.
Ask Juan. Carlos pretty heavy, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a big boy. It's a grown man out there.
And he is, I don't know if you time their 40s or anything, he is a step and a half. I don't even know how you measure that, but he is so much faster this year.
Yeah.
And he said he's stronger too.
Yeah.
That's scary.
He's got a bright future ahead of him, and looking forward to big stuff. continued throughout the season.
Takes the handoff to Castile. In the seat, passes man again. Ball fumbled at the goal line, into the end zone. Touchback, Central Arkansas covers it. A huge play defensively for the Bears as the receiver Sappington was on his way into the end zone for another touchdown. He's the one that scored the TD right before the half, but the Bears come in behind him and knock it away and force the touchback. What a huge play by the defense.
All right, welcome back. Sorry about that. Jumped the gun on that. But welcome back to Pizza Ranch in Conway. Or Pizza Ranch and then in parentheses Chicken Ranch. I keep hearing about this chicken, Coach. I haven't had a chance to eat here. I get nervous before the show, but
the players look like they like it.
I think all the fans here. I want to thank the Bells for coming out too.
Yeah.
Good to have them here, and I'm going to assume all of them sat through the rain the other night, so we'll give you credit. I didn't check to see if they were all there the whole time, but it was a rough night for sure. It was a lot of fun. It's always good when things work out and the Bears win. We always like that. So this week heading down to Southeastern. Okay, so from a coaching standpoint, again, every win is precious, and you kind of get a feel for what it takes to get to the postseason, which is always going to be a goal here because, as you said in the preseason, Coach, tradition doesn't graduate here at Central Arkansas. So what's the mentality for you guys and getting ready for Southeastern knowing that conference play is upon us?
Well, it's a different focus one. I think obviously you go out to win every week. I mean, we went out to win, beat Tulsa, and we went out to beat Murray State this past weekend. But to get the opportunity, you get 9 chances in the Southland Conference to go prove yourself, and Southeastern's the first chance. And luck of the draw, it's on the road. It's a long road trip for us. It'll be the first road trip for a lot of our young players. And as far as the Southland road trip, the Tulsa trip was that was relatively short for us. It was a short bus ride over to Tulsa from Conway. Hammond will be a little different. It'll be a little bit longer. We'll have a longer day on Friday. Travel day. So you worry about all those things as a coach, but I think our guys mentally are focused in on what we're trying to accomplish. We know what our goals are, and one of our first goals we talk about is winning a Southland Conference championship. Now, to do that, you've got to beat the good teams, and Southeastern is historically one of the better teams, at least over the past few years, and we know that. And they're going to be a talented football team that has their backs against the wall as well, looking for their first win. This is their home opening game, so they'll have a lot of excitement, but they're an 0-2 football team, but don't get it twisted. They're not an 0-2 football team, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Chase and Virgil, their quarterback, 4 touchdowns and 358 yards in a 3-point loss at Louisiana Monroe in Week 1, and then this just in, going to Baton Rouge is hard to do. They lost 31-0, but they held LSU to 31 points, and secondly, they moved the ball a little bit too. So they're a pretty dangerous offense, and it's a completely different approach from last year.
Yeah, and talking about the ULM game, I mean, ULM has to take the ball down on a 2-minute drive to win the game late. Southeastern had that game in hand, had a chance to win it. So that I'm sure they're probably coming back, from that game, kind of like we were at Tulsa. Man, we had our chances to win, all those things, and then they get to go play LSU. And I mean, that's a game where, if you're Southeastern, you go play an SEC West team who's supposed to be the crown jewel of the college country. You can be whipped before you went in there, but those guys battled and competed. When you watch them on film, they played with LSU. I mean, if LSU throws a Hail Mary right before half to get one of their touchdowns. If you look at the total yardage count for both teams, it was within 80 to 100 yards. So they didn't execute as far as putting points on the board. But if you watch the game and you watch the way they played against LSU, it won't take our guys long to take them seriously because they're really good.
They have been reasonably one-dimensional so far. What concerns you the most about what they do on the offensive side with the new quarterback?
Well, I think the quarterback he's a game manager. He understands what they're trying to accomplish. Coach Selfo, their head football coach, is a long-time offensive mind. He's been in the NFL. He's been an offensive coordinator for years. Their offensive coordinator is back, who was there in the Brian Bennett years.
Yeah.
So he came back from Eastern Illinois. This is his first year back. So we know what he did when they had Brian Bennett. And the Virgil kid is the same way. I mean, he's a Division I transfer who had success at Fresno State. I talked to Coach Thurman today when we were watching him, and he reminds me a lot of Braylon. I mean, he's very poised. He gets the ball out. He knows where he's going with the football. Wants to throw it first, but he's got a lot of good playmakers around him, and they've got a big offensive line, a very good size offensive line, especially for this league. So they'll be a challenge, just in what they do schematically.
It's been a tough place to go. Bears are 3-2 at Strawberry Stadium since moving to Division I, and luckily had a lot of success here, but it is a tough place to go down and win. And it's one of my favorite places to go visit. I think they've got a great football atmosphere, and I'm sure their fans will be juiced. And, it's kind of like we talked about Murray last year. They're trying to return the favor. You guys got that big purple target on your back. Yeah. Everybody wants a piece. And last year, 38-6. We mentioned Raphael Garner got a scoop and score last year. So, again, tough, challenging deal. And getting into conference play, they're going to be ramping things up as well. We mentioned Braylon, Coach. We didn't go into detail. But, again, I am awed by how you guys prepare quarterbacks every year. But the way that he has played, he looks like a seasoned vet. I accused you on the postgame of shipping him overseas and getting him in some other college or pro league. He just does not look like a guy who's only taken a couple dozen starter snaps.
Yeah, here's the deal, and I've said it all along that Braylon has the potential to be a great quarterback here, maybe one of the best to ever play here. Now that's potential, and what we're going to see is him get better week in and week out. And what you've seen so far is what I knew he had. He has the it factor. He has poise. He understands what we're trying to accomplish within our offense. Him and Coach Collins have a great player-to-coach relationship. But it's just the relaxation, the understanding of what we're trying to do, knowing where his outlets are, and the little things that really you talk about 2 or 3 year starter can't do half the time. So considering the circumstances other night, one of the best performances I've been around.
Blackman certainly can do it on his own. We've seen that many times. They will give it to him. Smashes forward. Second effort. Is he in? Yes! Touchdown, Central Arkansas! Carlos Blackman. And the Bears make the roughing the passer penalty pay off with 6 points. And, man, do they need that.
All right, welcome back. Final segment here at Pizza Ranch in Conway. And, yes, thanks to Braylon for keeping the drive alive. He took a shot there and was kind of going up into the line and got hit late, and Carlos made it pay off with a touchdown.
Yeah, that was a learning moment for Braylon. Luckily, it didn't cost us because of the penalty, but just a learning moment. He tried to throw the ball across his body. He actually had Jakari. If he'd been rolling to his right, probably could have made the throw. Just rolling to your left, throwing across your body like that, especially down there where points are. You should have points already with a field goal. Just a good learning moment for him, but glad it didn't hurt us.
Yeah, I was talking about NFL quarterbacks, that I watched yesterday that I would not trade Braylon for. And it is amazing. The first play, Coach, tonight in the Jets game, Sam Darnold, who's a rookie and an outstanding one, goes to one side of the field, throws all the way back across the field, and it got picked off for a touchdown. Oh, wow. And I'm thinking, that's not a good play in high school. This is the NFL, man. That's probably not going to work out too well for you. But you don't see that kind of thing, luckily, from your quarterback, and at least you hope you don't ever see that.
Yeah, they might. They wouldn't want to come to the sideline if they did that. Yeah.
All right, let's get into our 2-minute drill, Coach. And speaking of the NFL, team you watch or team you did watch growing up?
New England Patriots.
Okay. You were a Patriots fan even growing up?
I became a Patriots fan in '95 when they played Favre and the Packers in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Bledsoe and the Patriots, and then naturally they've gotten good and better, and so a lot of people call me a Fairweather fan, but I've naturally am a Tom Brady and Bill Belichick fan.
Okay. What about a player you admired growing up?
Oh, wow, so many. Probably just Brett Favre. I was born in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, so he was from that area, and just the way he played was just relentless and never missed a game.
Okay. I got to ask today, Favre or Rodgers?
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Well, that'd be a better question for you because that's more your.
I like them
team,
both. I'm a Packer guy, so I don't know.
I'll tell you what. You watch what Aaron Rodgers did last night, and he's pretty phenomenal. I mean, but Brett Favre was too, though.
Yes, he was pretty darn good too. Okay, this is a hard one on short notice. Is there a rule you would change
in a game, or what do you say?
Yeah, just in football. Is there a rule you'd like to see tweaked?
Yeah, I was talking about this today. I think the rule of you having to come out and sit a play when your helmet comes off is ridiculous.
Okay. There you go.
It's ridiculous.
That's good. Because I saw some people complaining about there was a play over the weekend where, and luckily it worked out good for you guys, fumble into the end zone covered. Some people don't feel like that should be a touchback, or maybe fumbled through the end zone should be a touchback. But I'm glad it worked out great for the Bears this weekend, so I like that rule.
No question.
I think that's an awesome rule. You mentioned going to Strawberry Stadium this week. Toughest place to play in the Southland, you think?
Oh, wow. Well, Strawberry Stadium would definitely be 1 or 2. I would say the next would probably be the hole in McNeese at Lake Charles, McNeese.
Yeah.
That's a tough place to play as well.
Okay. And then as a player for you, what about back in the Gulf South days?
Oh, wow. Probably Valdosta State.
Okay.
That was a long trip. Usually we were taking a long bus ride, and it's just they were good at home.
Yeah, I was going to say, every time you got there, Valdosta was there. That was the hard part.
Yeah, that was part of the problem.
Yeah, that was a bummer. Okay, last but not least, a little bonus question here. I saw your son smashing some ice cream earlier.
Ooh.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Cookies and cream.
Okay, that was easy. That's a
easy.
good, solid All-American answer.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so I was going to ask you before we got out of here, tight ends. We saw 3 in the game at one time the other night. I think I only saw 3. There may have been more than that, but Luke Ross, trying to become a legitimate threat in the passing game. I like it.
Well, here's the deal. To be a multiple offense, you've got to involve those guys at times, and they're heavily involved in our run game. So to keep defenses off balance, we've got to throw them the ball every now and then. And Luke's done a great job in transition, and he started out here as a linebacker and didn't work out for him on that side of the football, and we took him at fullback, tight end, and he's done a great job. Coach Hollingsworth's done a good job coaching him up, getting him ready. And then Josh Nix and Jack Short, to me, are 2 of the best tight ends in the league. I think both of them have size. They have ability. They can catch the ball. Just a good group of guys. I think they're going to continue to grow and be a weapon for us this season.
All right, good luck this week. We'll see you down in Hammond.
Can't wait.
All right, 7 o'clock kick. It's the latest kick of the season for the Bears. It may or may not be in the rain, and I know you guys like it however you get it. You're ready to roll.
Yeah, let's go play. We're ready. We're ready to play whenever they want to.
I love it. All right, 6 o'clock pregame on the UCA Radio Network. Hope a good group of folks from Conway and Central Arkansas can make it down to Hammond, Louisiana. It's not a tough trip, folks. Join us there or listen in on the UCA Radio Network. We'll join you back here next Monday night to recap it on the Nathan Brown Show here at Pizza Ranch in Conway. Good night.